And I think it's working. Perfect. So hi everyone. This is the 10th call, global community call for the Open COVID-19 Initiative. And I cannot believe that it's been already more than 2 months that we started this initiative. It feels like yesterday, but so much has happened in the meantime. It's really, really overwhelming. And I don't exactly know where all of this is leading us, but I think we're onto something very, very important and very interesting that is going to affect the way probably also science can work. So as usual, I would be starting with more general news from the program, which after 2 months and a half, right, we're getting in a more tranquil way. Like the build-up of the program has been going on in the beginning. Now it's getting more fluid. And we'll be hearing a little bit from Mark and from Leo, and then from the work groups also, and finally from you guys, the project leads. So I'll be starting. Regarding the updates, general updates, as I was saying, not actually like very big updates. I think we're still actually progressing on making the program better, and in fact we have now consolidated a channel on Slack, which is about improving Open COVID-19. So if you have ideas, where right now we have the time basically to really understand what we can improve. When we were in very fast growth, we actually didn't have the time to do much. We were completely overwhelmed by everything that was happening. So now we can actually put more quality time. Probably Alex and Camille will be able to talk about that. And so now what we're also trying to improve is the review process, the peer reviewing process, because it's one of the core elements of this community, and of JOGL here is how do we actually really empower the community to be a reviewer of its own work. And so we have an alpha version that you've been using if you have applied already. It's definitely not perfect. It's useful. It brings quality information. We have so many things to improve also on the platform side. We're still continuing also the extension of the larger network, so that we have more resources. We have access to more projects, more communities around the world, so that we can mix also the initiative together. Because at the end, the goal is not that one group does one project and another one does one project. If the projects are similar, they should be collaborating also. At the end, what matters is to create the best knowledge and best solutions that can be shared afterwards. And so we're still advancing also now with the new group regarding the Global South and also Africa. You can check it out on the Slack if you're interested, or if you're part of this region of the world. And we really want this initiative to be as inclusive as possible, so that we can also work on issues that are not occidental, and so to make it really truly global. And we're also pushing very much towards the creation of a larger program, as I was saying before, in Africa. So we're going step by step, so that's pretty much it. I would say we're also Camille and Alex will be saying more about how we are reformatting the program itself with like a better presentation, a better onboarding process. Basically, we have like all the good elements figured out somehow. Now we just need to make them good, like to make them really work, which text basically is much of the work. So we're all looking very much forward to this, and thanks again for everyone, not only Camille, Alex, and all the working groups, all the volunteers that put so much work and in helping, this program to be what it is in brainstorming and helping also on the operation sides. So that's it for me. We'll be announcing the next round of macro grant applications probably in the next few days. We're right now improving the process, as I was saying. It's probably going to start, I would say, on next Monday, just so that we are sure that we have something that is really qualitatively better. So stay in touch. You can start actually preparing your application if you're looking forward to make one. But yeah, it's coming soon. So Mark, would you like to take to do the next part to give us a few updates regarding the community?
Yes, in the little segment, the weather forecast of the community. Absolutely, I'll share my screen. Oops. So as usual, little slides, and I think you begin to be used now a bit to seeing those analytic information. We're still, so what I'm still impressed is that we're still gathering people from a lot of countries from around the world, which is quite beautiful to see. And obviously France and the US have now are most of the users that we see coming. Also India actually has a lot of contributors coming. And we, even if there is less activity and we all have less energy now, there's still like 300 visitors a day and 20 new registration every day coming for the program. So it's still pretty active on that side. Maybe I can go quickly on that, but this shows you where the people are coming from. So there's like half of them are coming directly to JOGL because they know the address for some reason, or they're returning to JOGL. But that's half of it is people coming because of being referred to it on social media or on news websites, etc. And we're still continuing to decrease what is called the bounce rate, which is the fact that when people arrive, they don't check any other page and they go somewhere else. So the more we're decreasing that, the more it means that people stay and do things on the platform, which is also what we want. I checked a bit the news and the website that would refer to the program, and I saw that now there's actually an article in Le Monde. So there's a lot of things related to the makers that points to projects on JOGL, so which is quite a good visibility still in France, but will also be cited in other COVID-19 related communities like ProdFight, for example, or even Google experiments. And we're seeing Makery that is now doing little beautiful news pieces actually about the projects. So in terms of the Slack activity, so I think this is a bit the story of our life, right? There was this big excitement very, very early on. And I would say there's a slow decay, but it's still pretty active. And we have around now a community core of around 150 members that are active every week. And we have 40 new members since last week. In terms of the skills of the new members, it's quite beautiful. I mean, being a scientist on the side, it's beautiful to see that you have such an array of skills in the community arriving that are, from soft skills or management skills, translation, digital marketing, content strategy, or sociology, or like there's really very interdisciplinary skills still coming. And we really need to make the best out of this skill set for the community. In terms of the time zone on Slack, I think it tells a story still that we saw on the world map, that you have East Coast, West Coast of the US, Europe, and then India. In terms of the active channels, actually it's very dwarfed by the, I'm not in the nucleic acid amplification channel, but apparently there is a massive amount of activity there every week. So we have some activity in the recommender system actually those days. So there's been some activities there as well. But I would love to know more about what's happening in this particular project. Okay, so the network you've been used now to see the community network, and since the past 2 weeks, what I try to emphasize is not the whole network of interaction of people on the platform, but the sub-network of the newcomers, the new users. And here it's a network where the blue nodes are people that are new contributors, new members of the Slack, and yellow nodes are the channels. And what you see is that the default is that they all arrive on the subset of channels that have been created by the onboarding subgroups. And what you see on the periphery is channels that are redirected to that correspond to something that was of interest for them. So you see that there seems to be an effect of the onboarding in bringing people to their channels of interest, and I'd love to know more about the onboarding team of their experience in how good it has been for the new people to be able to be directed to the right channels. I've noticed 3 new channels, and these are the people that have been in those channels, and maybe we'll get to hear, I don't know them, so maybe we'll get to hear about them today, because I see Thomas and Camille are part of them, sorry. A part of them, so maybe you'll tell us a bit more about those. And what I wanted to say is that also now we're kind of adapting to a more long-term strategy, and we're going to have a technical meeting on Mondays that is really on the recommender system. And Leo can tell more, but we have now a working version that's almost ready for production of a recommender system and a notification system that will allow to match people to needs and to other people, as well as showcase similar projects to a project you're looking at, or similar people to a person that you're looking at the profile. So we'll have this ready soon.
You're stealing my update.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Leo will tell you the update about that. The meta study, now we're going to do journal clubs actually for research on how this self-organized community has evolved and what are the best metrics to compute. And what we're going to do in the next few Mondays is journal clubs related to several papers we have selected from physicists, paper from computer scientists, and paper from sociologists to examine a bit what it is to do research on these open communities. And in particular, Lyubov, who's part of the call, will present one book next week, which is called Augmented Collective Intelligence from the MIT Center for Collective Intelligence. And that will, that's something I'll post on the Slack, because I think it can be interesting for other people and practitioners on the topic. So that's it for my update on my end.
Thanks, Mark. It's always nice to have this kind of insights. Next is we want to hear from Leo, which is going, well, now the team of developers actually grown. And we have 4 developers working on the platform almost full time, and 2 UX designers who were integrating everything that we learn within this program, and that would tell us also about what should be improved. So we've been really working a lot, and Leo is really leading this part beautifully, and so he's going to tell us more about what's going on, especially regarding the recommendation system.
Yeah, and a lot of work is completely invisible because it's a lot of code work at the moment. But I mean, like, we now have like about a 4-month timeline starting about now that will eventually lead us to a completely nice rework of the platform, allowing us to have a much nicer user experience for everybody. And that includes many features, many different systems that we want to see in JOGL, such as documenting your results and being able to link your different project, reuse other people's results in your own project. All of those sort of things, they're coming up, and they will be really, really useful for all of you, we hope. And we will basically ask all of you soon, basically within the next month, to test those, hopefully, so that you can give us feedback. So as we are going to roll out the new features, we will send emails as well along with it to ask for your feedback on them, because that will be very important for us to know if what we're doing is going in the right direction or not. So in terms of news this week, so there was a lot of work in the past few weeks in developing a recommendation engine, and so we worked in collaboration with Pedro Ramaciotti and Luis Aria, which basically helped us build a recommender system. So Pedro is a researcher that is working on recommendation engines and has developed this heterogeneous information network approach to them, which allow for better crafting of recommendation and like sort of semantic crafting, which is very important because it's not maximizing like machine learning approaches where you will maximize and create bubble effect. Here, you try to give meaning to your recommendation. So they have a sort of a semantic where you want to recommend something to someone because of that and that and that, instead of just taking every single parameters we have and maximizing that. And I don't know if anyone in the crowd understand what I just said, but it's particularly interesting and particularly important, especially in 2020, when we know of the harm that bubble effects can have in machine learning and recommendation system, right? I mean, we've all seen the elections of the past, 4 or 5 years, and many of the other issues that this has generated. So this is now in testing phase internally. So we'll probably roll out soonish, maybe next week. Next week is the timeline, at least for now, to have a first version rolled out to you guys, so you can now scroll through recommended items. And so this is going to be very interesting. The other part, which is clearly well needed, is a accurate and interesting notification system on JOGL. So this still needs to go through a little bit more testing, a little bit more development before it can roll out. So this might not be there before 2 weeks from now. But at least from a data structure and API point of view, the notification is in testing. And so now very soon you'll be able to have a little, bell of notification for when things happen on your project. But not only that, you'll be able to set very accurate settings on each notification you want. Which notification do you want? Do you want to know if someone followed you or not, someone clapped you or not? If all of those things, you will be able to set each one of them, which is important because that will avoid us spamming you of information you do not want to have, and only tailor your experience to what you want. So this is coming very soon, and it's very exciting. Along with this is still like the work on UX development that is continuing at like a normal pace, and you will see this happening over the next 4 months, basically. And finally, I want to say that Luis Arias actually joined our team part-time now, and he's going to work with us on many different aspects of infrastructure development and recommendation engine development, among other things. And so very excited to have Luis join the team. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Leo. A lot of good news. And maybe you could say that Luis is an experienced person, developers and project lead in community development and like open source projects. And he's been also working with Wikipedia, right?
If you're here, Luis, I guess, but yeah.
Hello, everybody. No, Wikipedia. No, I haven't been working with Wikipedia, okay. But I have been working in the wiki space. Yeah, with XWiki, which is an open source enterprise wiki, which is I had some experience with Ludovic. Ludovic Dubos was the founder of XWiki, and so I'm very, very happy to be here. Thank you for bringing me in.
All right, welcome, Luis. next, we want to hear more about the project coordination, the program coordination, what have been done to really improve the different aspects of this program, be it the onboarding, the communication, the reviewing. So I'm going to give the mic to Alex and Camille.
Great. Thanks, Thomas. I can start. So I will share my screen real quick. Can you guys all see my screen?
Yep.
Great. So quick update from the community management standpoint. Last week I talked about Slack user groups that we started rolling out. I want to go back to that real quick. So we are actively seeking out community coordinators to join these 4 different user groups. The guides, who are the go-to team for members looking to find their way in the initiative. Greeters, who act as OpenCovid19's onboarding agents. Moderators, who help keep the peace in our community. And recruiters, who help making matches between project teams and expertise. So that's just kind of the quick and dirty description of each of these roles. But if you're looking to take your engagement to the next level and join us in coordinating the community, please contact me, and we can chat if you have any questions about what these roles entail. Also in the Slack user groups, we're growing the list of community contributor user groups. I'm not going to go through this whole list, but essentially it's whatever you do on a regular basis and what defines you and what skills you have to contribute to this community, there can be a user group for that, so that other people with a similar skill set can join as well, and project teams can more easily find the skills and types of team members that they need. So if you want to be added to any of these user groups or suggest a new group, all you have to do is contact anyone in the guides user group to get added to this. And then a quick reminder as well, and thank you for the folks who are using these channels actively. I've seen some great contacts being made between teams and resources that they're looking for in these, looking for a project channel, looking for resources, and looking for skills. So I just want to bring that back out. If you haven't yet joined these channels, please do so if you are looking for anything in particular in this community. So that's it on my end. A quick update. Thank you.
Yeah, and maybe just to follow up on what Alex was saying, just like if you're not familiar with the user groups, these are just like allows you to have like a tag and say maybe tag guides, and it would just like tag everyone who belongs in this group. So if you tag project leaders, if you want to talk to every project leader, this like saves you from just like writing the name of everybody. So it's actually super useful, and please use it as much as you'd like. I do have some little updates on my side, like concerning like community management. We've been working a lot with Alex and many other members to improve the onboarding. I'm just going to as well share my screen. So I'm gonna try to keep it as short as possible because we want to give you give project leads the mic. So I'm just okay. I just want to let you know that we have a brand new project program page on JOGL, so everyone who reached JOGL can see these. You guys are all here. And yeah, we have pictures of our biosafety board, but also if that's one of your interests, we have the list of all of our partners. So if some people ask you questions about it, this is where you can find information. Second, if my computer is not too slow, I'd like to inform you that we have edited our code of conduct and the moderation process. So I encourage you to just go through it, try to see if you have any questions. It's really important because we want this community to be a safe space. And once again, we're not here to be the police. We just want things to be as safe and good as they can. So please just be kind, act in a good faith, and when in doubt, ask. if you have any single question, you can just tag the moderators. For now, it's just Alex, me, Kat, and Thomas, if I understand well. If you'd like to be part of the moderators, please reach out to us. Yeah, we welcome you with open arms. And my last update is on the onboarding document. So we have just revised, and thank you, Michelle and David Lou and Alex for this amazing work. We have came up with a brand new onboarding document, and I'm just going to show you one thing that I found very useful. It's a step-by-step flow chart that Michelle has done on Canva. So whoever you are in this community, if you have an idea, a project, skills and time, or resources, okay, this image is blurry, but you have the full image here. These are step-by-step processes. So you can just let yourself guide. I see you, Thomas, like you like, this is not gonna make the image better. But we all do that. So if you click here, yeah, you have the full image. So everyone who is new on this call, this is super useful for you. Yeah, so, and here you have links. So exploring project needs, you can click everywhere. So if you need stuff, you have step-by-step things. So please just like go through it. We've tried to make it really easy for you. Yeah, if you have skills and time and you want to answer needs, you have all the stuff. So yeah, all of the questions you may ask are fine in this document. So please use it. It's made for you and by the community, so enjoy. And I think this is quite all for me. Yeah, if you have any questions, just reach out. We are constantly on Slack, and please use the Billboard channel. This is where we put all the important information. So just go to the Billboard. That's all for me, and I wish you are all doing very well. Chat soon.
Thank you so much, Camille and Alex, and everyone who has been contributing to those documents. You know, it would take really too much time to sign everyone. You can actually reach out if you want to help. We have different kind of channels. Maybe Camille and Alex, you could put the link of those documents again in the chat, so that people can reach can have them. Now we're going to get, so let me actually go back to the agenda. So next we want to hear more about the communication, and then about the student engagement if we have any news. Maybe Hans, would you like to speak up?
Yes, hi everyone, this is Hans from the communications team with a quick update. So the first thing is we'd like to request some more content for our social media pages. So for example, if as usual you need certain skills, we could post that on social media, or if there's in your project a milestone that has been reached, or you're seeing something good starting to take shape, then we could advertise this on our pages. Or even if there's someone that you really admire for all the amazing work they're doing, we could make a spotlight post for that. So any ideas of posts for our social media, you can fill in our scheduling spreadsheet. The link to that is in the agenda. And if you just make a draft on a Google Doc and fill in all the fields, we can then review it and eventually post it on all our pages. Our second request is that we actually don't have that many people hours on the communications team at the moment. So if you want to help review posts or help with just a posting schedule, then please get in touch with us. You can find us on our communications Slack channel or just at communications team. And we'd be delighted to have you help, whether it's because you're good at communication or because you want to get better at communication skills, then you can join us. And that's it for me this week. Thanks a lot for listening.
Thank you, Hans. So Pauline, would you like to provide us with an update regarding the student engagement?
Hi. So we had our first student engagement work group meeting last week on Thursday. We are going to have another one this time at its regular time. So for me, Pacific time, that's 10 a.m., but it is, I think, 7 p.m. Central Eastern time. Yes, so 7 p.m. CET. Last week, we were just mostly focusing on how to re-strategize and increase, well, student engagement, and we were very lucky to have a med student from the, I'm going to have to check this real quick, Mississippi Medical Student Association come in and say, hey, this would be really useful to us. Could you, this is what we would like and this is what we would need. And that has been, in addition to ideas we explored very much early in the much earlier stages, really useful for us going forward. So right now we are basically trying to gear towards drawing some students in for the summer, especially students that are looking for projects or students that have their own projects and need somewhere to house them. And I think that's where we're going to deliver our main focus onto. So if you would like to join us, we will be, I believe, 7 p.m. CET is it 6 or 8 UTC? I'm not good at converting. I think it's 6 UTC, but we'll be having another meeting to kind of gear up and start cranking out a deliverable to distribute to med students and other students. And then we are also still meeting with various education leaders and companies to see if we can either like connect with more students or develop a program to create student projects even. So that's where we are. The meetings, I think the first first two meetings are, so last week and this week's, but I have not the meetings after this week.
All right.
So yes.
Actually have potentially a good news for you, Pauline, and for everyone. I've been contacted today by a university professor that is basically telling me that the usual internships for students cannot happen because of the lockdown. And so he's been thinking of asking his students to do the internship with us to contribute on the program. And we're talking about potentially like a dozen students that will be actually contributing for 2 months on the program. I think it's a fantastic idea, when you're a young student, like in bachelor, to be able to join such initiative, the kind of experience you gain. So I'll be discussing with him tomorrow. It's a university professor based in France, but it somehow draws an interesting model there. That how can we actually propose to students like a short experience, that is not the usual experience within the lab, but within more like a general community like this one. So that's it. All right, so now we are going to hear about the project themselves, and we'll be starting with the basic respirator project with Hunter.
Hi, good morning.
How's the news? Hi, Hunter.
Hi. The project took a great turn last week. I entered a challenge with an organization called Challenge America and the Veterans Health Administration, specifically their innovation ecosystems. I think that's the R&D department within that network. So the challenge was to create a respirator for law enforcement and other first-line responders. And so I took the basic respirator project and I modified it. So this is the new version, same pattern, but different materials and different construction and some cool features added to it. And I won, which is awesome because that means that the VHA is going to hopefully help me test. And then if it gets FDA approved, then we can move on to production. So I'm not going to jinx it, so I'm going to be very cautiously optimistic about that progress. But I'm still waiting. This all just happened on Sunday, so I'm going to wait to hear from them and coordinate with some of those groups. We're going to be looking at a lot of different kinds of manufacturers too. So now it's I think there's so many different steps now for me to take. My primary goal though is fit testing. I have some materials testing and understanding the regulations required for these devices. And then I'm still waiting for hospitals to respond on the fit testing for the Tyvek version of the mask. It's hard to chase down feedback, but I'm going to be doing that this week. And then I'm still waiting on supplies for fit test kits. So shipping for these things has been really slow. So unfortunately, I've not been able to conduct any of my own fit testing or get results from labs. But those are the main areas that I need help with. And yeah, that's it. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Congratulations, Hunter, for the progress.
It's exciting.
So regarding the hospital testing, what kind of testing do you require? Because we have this partnership with APHP. Maybe we could help with that.
Yeah, see, I'm not sure. This is where I need. So the goal would be to get FDA emergency use authorization, and I'm hoping that by doing that, I'm not sure with Europe and other countries whether they're accepting imports of new designs and how that would work. Specifically, the testing I need is fit testing. So that's the where they put the hood over, and there's like a saccharin or bitter solution that they spray into the hood, and then you taste it. So this qualitative fit testing, I think, is the proper term for it. And then I think the materials that I'm using are new. This is a nylon ballistic material that hasn't been used in respirator designs before, as far as I know. I've read some research, and so I think there's some science to back up my assumption that this would be an appropriate replacement for like a hard plastic in a respirator design. I imagine that the FDA is going to require usually it would be considered NIOSH certification. But with this, I think the VA is doing their own testing, but I'm not sure. So fit testing is the major one though. That's number one. There's also liquid barrier penetration, where they will squirt blood-like solution onto the material and make sure that the liquid doesn't penetrate it, which I think it would work with this material, but it just needs to be proven. So yeah, I'm hoping with FDA approval that might help get this design released to other countries. And then of course too, working with the manufacturers here, I'm going to be releasing all that information open source of exactly how to construct the mask, what materials to use, what's been tested, all of that, and decon procedures is another one too. So yeah, it's a lot of work. I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah, don't hesitate. I think we can probably test a few of them here locally in Paris with APHP.
Okay. Okay, that'd be amazing. I can send some samples over for sure. So I'm gonna make some more samples next week.
Okay, awesome. We can discuss this on the Slack.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Hunter.
Thank you.
The next project we want to hear more about is Breezy, the crisis emergency ventilator with Adam.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. We've had some fruitful weekend. The last weekend, we put together the first prototype of the ventilator, which was able to take the first automated breath. So if you're interested, you can check the projects, or I can post the link to the video in the chat in a minute. So this is a big step, and now we have a lot of work to tuning all the firmware and all the algorithms, the control algorithms, so the ventilator does what it's supposed to do in every case, and we have to handle any exceptions, any failures, and so on. So this is what are we gonna do in the next, and yeah, so there's a lot of work ahead. Maybe also Bill can tell us about his progress.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I'm not set up to do the video camera, but yeah, there's a display app that goes with Breezy that does the charts. That's available on the Google Play Store now. And where that might be interesting is if there's a project that wants to very quickly have a display of time-based data coming off of a device, it can be pretty easily configured to any sort of time-based data. So, so the use case here is basically if you have something like an Arduino controller, you can always have like an embedded LCD display, but that takes more development time. If you want to very quickly have a display and you've got some Android tablets or cell phones lying around, then you can very quickly get a moving display of graphs and data for a device that you're building. So, so anyway, that's available if it's of interest to anyone.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And please, Adam, pause the video somewhere. That would be awesome.
Yeah, sure, I will.
The next project we want to hear about is the open source low-cost syringe pump. Who do we have here who wants to speak about this project?
It was me who put the open syringe pump in the list. so I think last time it was you who mentioned this project because there was like nobody to to tell. However, this was quite active project. We have maybe some change now going on because there was another project successful in France on Electrolab, right? So so now we have maybe we have to reconfigure our goals because now it's not like maybe this emergency state, but we can still we want to go on and develop a nice open source syringe pump. So
that's right.
So yeah, so I can say for Rado, who is not present here now, that he's been working on the board, which if you check the project, if you click on the link and see the project on JOGL, I have posted there how the board looks like right now. There is a visualization, so it's a quite small board. It's a 12 by 8 centimeters board, which has everything on it. It has a battery charger, it has display, motor driver, keypad, everything. So that's enough to do all the job for the syringe pump. We also don't have Sina here, who is doing the hardware design, and also the other people who are working on this project. So they best tell for them. So it's a pity they're not here. But we have now a weekly basics calls. So on Friday we will have an update.
Yeah, every Friday at 9 p.m. Central European time. We have the open source syringe pump projects call. Yeah, thank you, Adam, for the updates on this project. The next project is the bioreactor project by Adrienne. Adrienne, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Of course I am. I've been listening to you guys. So yeah, we had a pretty good week with pretty much the expected progression on the bioreactor. One of the good things we managed to get from a friend some pH sensors. We are waiting for lots of parts, and we didn't have the pH sensor, so we got from a friend some pH sensors and actually also some temperature sensor with the long probe, which meant that we were able to put them in the hardware. We were able to put them in the software, and we managed to actuate a peristaltic pump with that, and that seems to be working very well. So that was better than expected, actually. We are still waiting for the primers to start the genetic engineering for the 3 reagents. So we sent a request about 2 weeks ago. We got an email from the company that they are delayed because of the COVID and stuff like that. So I don't have an ETA on that. We had some discussion about possibly using secretion instead of to avoid the cell lysis after the reagents are being produced. There's a possibility to do that using some types of enzymes, but that will have to be tested manually first. We're still looking for receiving the funds for to order the last parts. Hint, hint, Thomas. We are having several new people joining the project. We did a manual test using the silicone bag that is the container for the bioreactor with a rocker, and we got some results, which is kind of in line with what we expected to do. We still have some more processing to verify exactly the yield of proteins on that. And we also tested the prototype rocker with a large load, and it works okay up to 1.5 kilograms. After that, we have to maybe optimize it a little bit. And that's about it for us.
Awesome. Thank you, Adrian. Next project is going to be the project which is about optimizing the NAB LAMP test for COVID-19. Ellen, would you like to speak for the project?
Yes, and I believe Sarah is on too. Yes. So Sarah, jump in whenever. So this is going really fast. I mean, it's one of the things is that a lot of people are interested in LAMP because it's such an easy technology and it takes a lot less time than the PCR test. And so we found ourselves working in parallel with a lot of other groups. And there's been a lot of collaboration between those groups outside of JOGL. And that's one thing that has been like kind of really shocking and surprising and pleasantly surprising to me about the whole thing. Basically, Sarah and Chris and I have been doing most of the wet work on just the colorimetric LAMP test. And we've identified the best primer set. We met with New England Biolabs yesterday. Surprisingly, there appeared to be no barriers to using it in a diagnostic. They basically said that unless we were trying to market and sell it, that their opinion was that the Japanese company that holds the patent we're not even going to get on their radar screen, and it doesn't really matter in the middle of a pandemic. So that was kind of good news. They are gearing up to make tons of this master mix. They don't think that there's going to be a shortage unless, they said they've got a lot of people that talk about big numbers, but nobody is using it in huge numbers yet. So I don't think it's a barrier to us rolling it out in certain locations. So that meeting went really well. We've been focusing now on trying to make artificial patient samples, so spiking the twist synthetic RNA controls into sputum and things like that. We really have to decide at this point, what are we going to test? Because there have been tests with swabs in the back of the throat, nasal swabs, sputum, saliva. There have been various reports on how many copies of the virus is in each one of these fluids. And so we're kind of at the point where we sort of have to decide, well, which are we going to concentrate on? And we're trying, a lot of people are looking at saliva because obviously it's easy to collect and it's not as problematic as the swabs, where if you don't shove them up your nose or someone else's nose hard enough, you may not get a good amount of virus. The other thing is that there are a lot of alternative RNA extraction methods. The problem is that, at least according to published literature, there may only be 300 copies of virus per mil, so you want to capture all of that RNA. And the easiest way to do that is to purify the RNA and then elute it in a very small volume. So, but we had a call this morning with Will K9, who makes OpenTrons, and they've been involved in automating a whole bunch of testing all over the world. And he said, surprisingly, some of these methods like the hillbilly bead extraction actually work as well as the commercial kits and may be more accessible and easier. So we're sort of excited to try that. The other thing is we've spent a lot of time looking at CLIA regulations. Sarah is actually in the position, because she has a BSL-2 lab, and because her state really wants testing, to maybe even do the testing in her own lab. And of course, we're very interested in collaborating with anyone that, I don't know, you mentioned, Tomas, that you have connections within this hospital. I mean, if we decide sort of which fluid we're going to be collecting, and we do some mock-ups and it seems to work well, is there a possibility that we could actually partner with a hospital and get some validation with patient samples? Because Chris from the CDC can get RNA that's been extracted and tested, but that doesn't get away from the standard RNA kit extraction procedure that is a barrier. So
I think this is totally feasible. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we're really at the step where the rubber is hitting the road. And it's interesting because a lot of people publish all of these preprints, but I don't see very many people at all going to the next step. You know, it's like they have the RNA archived from patients that have already had the CDC test. They test that RNA with LAMP and they say, wow, it works. And then, you know, I'm not really sure where they're going with the next step with it.
Right.
I know Chris Mason is trying to get it out of saliva. The NEB is actually working on their own version of a kit where they're trying to look at saliva, but no one has actually done anything yet, which is kind of interesting considering, you know, we're this group that's cobbled together and we're at the same point as all these professional groups in a way. So Sarah, do you want to add anything to all of that?
I mean, I think you covered it pretty well. But yeah, we're just hoping the next steps are to look into the FDA emergency use authorization. What kind of complexity would our test be? Maybe moderate, hopefully not highly complex. And yeah, we're just at the stage where we're ready to start talking to the people with the FDA and finding out what exactly we need to do to validate this test in order to start testing patients.
And is there a way, I think one of the needs of our group at this point is to figure out if rolling it out in a different country would be easier, like somewhere in Europe. I mean, we talked with Florian for a while, and he seemed to think that in Germany, the regulations were such that there was a great deal of freedom for individual physicians to use tests. The other thing, when we were talking to Will from OpenTrons this morning, it's very interesting. In the United States, as long as you're not claiming it as a diagnostic test, think something like 23andMe, literally you can provide the test as long as you put waivers all over it saying that this test is not a test. I mean, it's kind of a weird thing. And particularly we're in a weird position because most people that engage this complicated machinery in the United States are trying to sell something. Mm-hmm. If we're not trying to sell anything, we're certainly skirting on the edge of a lot of things, but it's kind of exciting that, particularly in this atmosphere of pandemic, the likelihood of anybody, say, coming after Sarah for doing testing in her space is pretty low.
No, that's right. I think it's worth exploring what a European context can do for this project. We can dig into that later on. Definitely.
Yes, let's do that.
Yep.
All right, so very exciting. Thank you so much, both of you, and Sarah, and the whole group contributing to the project. The next project we want to hear about is, and the last of the list I see for this call, is the Global Free Educational Webinars by Eugenia and Lectures Without Borders. Is Eugenia here?
No, actually no.
Oh, Luba, you want to speak
Yes.
about the project? Yes.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, okay, great. Yes, actually it's very short update that we have a lot of schools now, and we have also some people registered, and Eugenia is not here because today there was also a webinar and on this weekend, and we have the form which I posted in the document. So if you want to participate as a lecturer, it can be topic which can be related either to epidemics or to virology or to health. You can find it there in the document, and also we have the Slack channel where you can find more information about this, and yeah, you're welcome to join. And also the communication team that we have, we try to spread information about it, and if you want we can send you more links to it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Yuba. So that was the last project of the list, and so I see in the agenda that someone had it. Yajur Santi, you want to invite everyone for a demo day. It's an event on the 27th of May, right? Would you like to say a few words about that?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm part of an organization called OSCMS BC. I've heard about from a lot of the teams that we work with about some of the awesome things you guys are doing. We want to increase the opportunities for collaboration and to showcase kind of the work teams around the world are doing. And so we'd like to invite groups like yourselves to come check out our demo day to showcase some of the work BC-based teams are doing.
All right. Could you post a link directly in the chat of this Zoom?
Sure, yeah.
Awesome. All right. So thank you very much, everyone, for sharing those awesome news. It's very exciting. It's really moving forward. It's really, it's beautiful to see actually how all of this is coming up together. So I'm not going to take more of your time, but before I let you go, we're just going to make this traditional group picture where everyone gets to say hi to the world. And so I'm going to ask everyone to activate their video stream. So I'm going to make a screen capture of everyone, and I will be sharing this on the social medias. So I'm going to wait that everyone activate their video stream.
Your apartment's crazy. He usually tells us when he's going to take the picture.
All right.
Sarah, is that your son?
No. Nope. Yeah, I just have daughters.
Because you look a little alike.
Yeah? Interesting.
You flatter me.
This is Mike.
Okay, for some reason, my internet is very slow. I'm going to wait. I think it's getting better.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I see people moving. Yeah, it's coming back. All right. For some reason, I don't see Ellen and yeah, I see Hans. I don't see yet Ellen videos. It's very strange, but I think my video is really bad.
Shall someone else take the screenshot?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. If you see everyone, could you make the screenshot and send it to me?
Yeah,
I'm going to make one. You see everyone? Awesome. Okay. So please, everyone, can you say hi to the camera? Awesome.
I got it.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. The connection is really bad for me right now. Okay. So thank you again, everyone. It's been a great meeting, and I wish you a very happy evening, day, or morning, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're safe and well. Bye-bye.
Bye, take care.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye.
Tomas.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, and thank you.